Now, if you look in a mirror, what you see and what others see can be so different. A Norfolk woman says she stopped going out and couldn't take her daughter to school because she suffered from a skin-picking disorder. Charlotte Starling removed hair from all over her skin and has been left scarred by picking the sores left behind. She said the shame of it meant that she never wanted to leave her house. The disorder, also known as dermatillomania, I think I've got that right, also comes under the umbrella of body-focused repetitive behaviour. Charlotte says it started after the trauma of having a teenage pregnancy, which she didn't know about. She didn't know she was pregnant. She went to the toilet one day, and what she thought was going to come out didn't come out, but the baby did. What a shock. Charlotte has appeared on my programme before, and today we're going to have a look at her story again, because in April she did some filming for ITV on a programme called The Speakmans. A couple known as Nick and Eva Speakman are psychotherapists and have their own TV show. Since the filming, Charlotte says it's totally changed her life, so much so that she's able to go to her 11-year-old daughter Louise's assembly at school, something that she would have never thought possible beforehand. They're both here with me now, so good morning to both of you. What an amazing story. Let's go back to the very beginning. So first of all, you didn't know that you were pregnant. That must have been a huge shock.
Yeah, looking like through the eyes of an adult now, I would have known the signs. But then, being quite young and naive, I didn't sort of put anything together to realise that I was pregnant till I gave birth to her.
Wow, and that I understand was a shock which triggered this whole episode. When did you start plucking for the first time?
When Louise went into full-time education, because I suppose I felt like I didn't have a purpose anymore, because when she wasn't there I felt I wasn't a mum, and when my partner wasn't there I felt like I wasn't like a fiance or a partner, so I didn't know who to be and how, what to do with myself. So one day I just started plucking and it just spiraled.
And what kind of enjoyment did you get out of plucking?
I didn't realise I got an enjoyment out of it, to be fair, at first, until I started plucking my fingers after my mum and dad split up, and there was a certain hair that gave me this sort of weird feeling, and then I was always looking for the same feeling from and never found it.
Can you describe that feeling? What is that feeling like?
It was like a strange tingling sensation. It was a weird sensation that I never felt again, but was always looking for it from hairs.
So you only ever felt that feeling once?
Yeah.
And that was a tingling sensation that you enjoyed?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you would wildly pluck the rest of your hairs, desperately looking for this sensation again that you never found?
Yeah.
How extraordinary.
Sometimes going into like a trance state for hours, not realising and hours had passed, and near enough being late to pick my daughter up because 6 hours had passed.
And what about the state of your body? You must have been bleeding, it must have been sore. Some of the wounds must have been quite unpleasant.
Oh yes, some of them got infected as well. Some of them were so bad that my clothing would stick to them.
Now, we met you because you gave an interview to a national newspaper and you came into the programme and you showed me some of the wounds, if you remember, a little while back. And I remember saying, well, I don't really understand because you look great, but then you showed me some of the wounds on your breasts, and they were quite severe. Yeah. So have they improved?
Oh, I haven't picked since April. The scars are obviously now lightening as well. I've got no open wound on me at all from picking. I've got the odd little scratch maybe from the dog, but I've got nothing that I've inflicted on myself.
Well done.
Yeah.
I say well done. That's a very patronising thing for me to say, because people listening will go, well, put the tweezers down. But for you, it's huge. Oh yeah,
but for me to even get a scratch from the dog and to be able to leave it, or a spot on my face and to be able to leave it, it's weird. I'm going around pointing out the fact to people that I've got a pussy spot on my face because I've never had a pussy spot before, because I never let it get to that.
Far.
It always used to be a big scab before even managed to be a proper spot.
And do you feel better in yourself now? Do you feel more confident?
I feel amazing. I now walk with my head up in the air rather than hunched over. I used to think that everyone was talking about me, and I used to think that everyone was laughing at me when I went out, but now I can now walk tall and and I don't care if
What's the change though? Because Charlotte, you are much changed from when I saw you last, when we spoke last time, and the desire was to stop picking. You had stopped picking then, or you were trying to stop picking.
Yeah, but it went through its ups and downs.
Yes.
When I'd seen you last, I was going for a good stage, but then my nanny went into hospital with a major heart attack and heart failure, and had to be resuscitated, and then I went for a bad stage.
Yeah.
But now sadly she's passed away since recording the show for the Speakmans, and I haven't even picked once.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But before,
I'm delighted to hear you haven't picked, but I'm sorry to hear about your
yeah. Where before that would have been a major trigger. Even going to the shop would be a trigger before, but not even thought about it.
So let's talk about this brilliant couple then. The Speakmans. What can you tell me about Nick and Ava?
Well, I've never met two more amazing people in my life. They're so down to earth. What you see is what you get with them, and they've had bad publicity, I've read, from doing the show, and that makes me so angry because all they want to do is help people, and I owe them my life really. Now I can be a proper mum to Louise. Finally.
Well, Louise, and that's love. It's quite touching. Unfortunately, this is radio, so the audience can't see that. But Louise gently just put her hand on top of yours at that point. Louise, we'll talk to you in a moment if that's okay. Eva Speakman is on the line. Eva, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Lovely to have you on the programme.
It's lovely to be on the programme, and it's lovely to hear Charlotte's voice too. And really kind words there, Charlotte. Thank you.
What did you do, Eva? Because I've seen the difference. I spoke to Charlotte how long ago? 2 years ago?
Oh no, it was I think it was just before Christmas last year. That's all it was.
God, time flies, doesn't it?
I know.
It was October. I've been told it's October we spoke in, and in that short time, then there has been a huge change, which is fantastic. Eva, what did you do?
Well, obviously Charlotte has a condition called dermatillomania, and as we believe, Nick and I, we use our own therapy, which is called schema conditioning psychotherapy, and our take on it is that all these things, skin picking, self-harm, is actually a symptom, and therefore if that's a symptom, what we do is look for the cause. And as Charlotte has explained there, we look for the cause and we change it. So, as I say, Charlotte explained there that she had an experience at the age of 16 which completely rocked her world, albeit in the greatest way. Louise is absolutely adorable, but at that time, she kind of stopped in time and didn't realise what was going on. Her life got taken over by adults because suddenly there was a baby. And Charlotte actually got to a point where she really didn't know what her position was, particularly once Louise had gone to school. She had no purpose. And the skin picking became almost a cry for help, and it gave her sort of some acknowledgement and purpose. We changed that because, like I say, Charlotte was kind of stuck as a 16-year-old observing the world, because that's when her sort of time stood still for her. And all we did was help Charlotte to change her perspective and see the situation now through an adult's eyes, which is literally what happened. And we saw Charlotte transform in front of our eyes, to actually being able to look at the entire situation as an observer, like I say, through an adult's eyes, and be able to make more sense of it and realise that she's absolutely wonderful, she's very loved, and that she has a massive purpose in life, still continuing to be a mum to Louise, but also being Charlotte, if that makes sense.
What did you do? Because in terms of the technique, I know you say that you try and get the patient to see it from an adult's perspective. It'll be different for each patient, I understand that. But what do you actually do? What kind of therapy do you use?
Well, like I say, it's called schema conditioning psychotherapy. Every thought, every behaviour starts from a schema, and a schema it's a thought or a belief. It's a cognitive thought process, but it's a thought or a belief. We developed our own psychotherapy, like I say, it's called schema conditioning, because what we do is we recondition that schema, and we literally do it through talking, through suggesting different options that you can view a situation from, which is exactly what we did with Charlotte, because Charlotte was just seeing things. It was almost, if someone has a problem, Nick, it's almost like you are in a maze. You know there's an exit and you know there's a way out, but you being in the maze can't physically see it. Nick and I in our therapy, what we do is we kind of look at it from an elevated or future position or adulthood, and we just guide and suggest different options on actually seeing that situation, excuse me, to help Charlotte actually find her own way out of her maze. And it literally is just discussion and options. Have you ever considered this? Because one of Charlotte's things that she discusses is that part of her self-harm was that she'd lost her purpose, and the skin picking was almost for somebody to notice her. And so she would pick and then show her mum, for example, but yet she'd put on a really brave face and say, no, I'm fine. But it was a cry for help, really, saying, look at me. And part of the therapy, which was wonderful, we have a mediation section within our show, where the family join us, and it's a huge open discussion. And there was a lot of discussion with Charlotte and her mum and Charlotte's partner Martin, and there was a very open discussion because everybody thinks they know what everybody else is thinking, and we all think that we know and we can see everybody's perspective, but nobody actually ever sits down and discusses it. And in mediation in the show, we all sat down and we all spoke, and it was a really enlightening moment for everybody. And at that moment, Charlotte realised she didn't need to self-harm or pick a skin to be noticed, because her mum loves and loved her unconditionally, as did Martin and the rest of the family. So a lot of it was just down to opening a line of communication as well.
Okay. Eva, thank you. Really good to have you on the programme this morning. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. If I can just say one more thing, Nick, is that dermatillomania is something that a lot of people suffer with. Yeah. And from our perspective, we're so very, very proud of Charlotte, because she came on the show and bravely shared her journey. And we know from our TV series a lot. It's been on. So many people have been helped by simply just watching, by just realising there's hope, by realising it's not just them. And Charlotte is a great ambassador and a great inspiration for other sufferers to see that there is a way out. And like I say, hopefully watching the series as with many other people, they too will get answers. And the show is on every weekday at 2, by the way, on ITV, and I just really hope that it helps other people out there. And big thanks to Charlotte for sharing her journey. We fell in love with Charlotte, as you know, I've told her that many times. She's absolutely adorable, and I can't wait for everybody to see just how amazing she is on her show this week. This week,
okay, it's on this week. What day is it on?
On Wednesday.
So Charlotte's show's on Wednesday on ITV at 2:00. Eva, good luck with the series. Great to have you on. Thank you
so much. It's been lovely to speak to you all. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Eva.
Thank you. Bye.
Eva Speakman, who is a psychotherapist on ITV's programme The Speakmans, 2:00 on ITV. Gosh, what a story. Let's just talk to your daughter. Let's talk to Louise. Louise, just talk to me about the difference in the life of your mum and what you have noticed since she last appeared on this programme in October, thanks to the help that she's got from this ITV programme.
Well, ever since she's been cured, before she got cured, it was she couldn't go out anywhere. She couldn't even walk me to school. But ever since she's been cured, we took on London and we went to see Katy Perry in concert.
Excellent.
And she was fine. She didn't panic or anything.
Did Mum go off like a firework? That was a rubbish pun on a Katy Perry lyric. Don't worry. I was trying to be clever.
Yeah. We went through London with face paint like a cat, both of us, and I didn't even care. Because Katy Perry fans are called
Katy Cats.
Katy Cats.
That's right. So there's a pair of Katy Cats going through the capital. Louise, is it like you've got the mum that you want back?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And what was it like for you when you had friends whose mums would come to the school gates, who would take part in the activities that they were doing, and you knew that your mum wouldn't because of the condition that she was suffering from?
Well, it made me feel a bit upset and alone.
But now we've got a big difference, a big change, which is great.
Yeah.
And your mum is confident to go and do things again. You say that you're cured. You say that your mum's cured. I suppose there's always because you've gone through this episode, there's always a chance that something could trigger.
I was worried of that, and I've been in constant contact with Eva via Facebook since the show. And when my nanny died and we had to go to the funeral, I was worried then but she said that now I've grown up and I see the world through the eye of an adult, I won't go back, because I'm not gonna go back to seeing the world through the eye of a child anymore.
This is interesting. So what we're saying really is that she has helped the maturity process, hasn't she? She is.
Yeah, they say when I had Louise, time stopped for me, and I just didn't grow up. And that really, I can see where, now they've sort of pointed that out to me, I can see where they're coming from, because I remember a time when I wanted to get a job at my old high school, just because that's where I was happiest, and things like that. And I think that just proves that, I just wanted to stay in...
Well, you lost, it was 15, wasn't it?
Just 16.
Just 16. But you lost so much of your childhood, your younger years, because of what happened. But then we see the product of what happened here, and she's absolutely wonderful.
She is.
There's a real positive tinge to all of this, isn't there?
Yeah, considering what she's had to go through, having a mum like I was, she turned into an amazing, young lady. And I think, she's to thank for that, mainly because if she wasn't so, mature, I suppose, and that she could have gone off the rails, but I'm now here to make it up to her. And
last time we spoke, Louise, you might want to close your ears at this point, because this is the kind of conversation that children never like to hear about their parents. Fingers and ears is not a bad thing. We talked beforehand about personal relationships and things like sex life, and has that improved as well after this?
Yeah, me and Martin went back to
it's horrible, isn't it, Louise? It's horrible.
We went to near enough being friends. We got to the point where we were just just friends, but now we're trying for a baby. So.
Fantastic. That's wonderful news. You can now uncover your ears. Was that news to you, Louis? Do you know about that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was going to say.
You want a sister, don't you?
Yeah, but I don't want a brother.
Well, it's a 50-50 toss-up between the two. The good thing about having a brother is you can look after the brother.
Oh, you got a stepbrother, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have an older sister, Fiona, and she's a beast. She's like a gorilla. But she is the boss of the family, and underneath her are 4 boys, and she absolutely keeps us in line. There is no doubt about it. She is in charge. So there's something to be said for being the oldest girl, because I think all boys to a certain extent like to be mothered, and sometimes they'll turn to their sisters. So if you have a daughter, then you'll have a great friend. If you have a brother, then you can be the boss.
Yeah.
Either way, you're a winner. Okay, well, you're on ITV. It must have been quite strange having the cameras in front of you. The reality is that sometimes going on a TV programme is the only way that you can get the help that you need.
But when I look at, even it's weird, when I look at photographs of myself, which I used to like from before I went to the Speakmans, my eyes look so sad in them photos, where now, like, even my eyes smile.
Yeah, you're a different person.
No, I am. I know I put on this front last time I came here, but now
you didn't put on a front. There was one part of the interview, and I think I said to you, if you remember it, I said, could I see one of your wounds? You might want to put your hands back in your ears again now, Louise. And if you remember, you undid your top and you brought your breast out. And I was rather surprised.
Oh yeah, this from what Eva was saying. Where before I used to get out these, and I didn't realise they were a cry for help. Yeah. But now looking back, I used to get them out, like get my wounds out, just show anybody. And in a way, that proves that they were for a cry for help, because I wouldn't do that now. There's no way that I would.
But I can. But I can understand why somebody would need to cry for help. I think the first thing, I don't know if you'd agree with me on this, is that people often say, oh, it's a cry for help, I'm away from that now. Actually, sometimes we need to cry for help. And you did cry for help, and you've been heard. And they have started you off on this long process of being able to recover psychologically from what you've been through. And it's wonderful that you are here talking about it.
I just thank Martin for making me apply for the TV show, because I wasn't going to.
Yeah.
Because I'd applied to see the Speakmans on This Morning so many times and never been successful. But he told me to apply for them, and I couldn't believe it when I was selected. So.
Yeah, wonderful. Is Martin going to come in and join us momentarily? Come on, Martin.
He said he wanted to this time.
Did he?
Yeah.
See, last time he wasn't so keen on coming on the radio.
Could I just quickly say something?
Of course you can.
Could I say a quick hello to our neighbours and friends from Woodton, Denise and Kenny Brown, and because Kenny's recovering from having a stroke.
Right.
And they're listeners to your show quite often.
All the best, especially all the best then to Kenny.
And Denise, to
Kenny and Denise, and thank you for listening to this programme. I wish you well. Right, my man.
Right.
See, what would you say about all this? The whole process is quite strange, isn't it, when you've got the TV cameras in front of you? But I guess the transformation has been absolutely huge for Charlotte.
Very, yeah. I'm very pleased with her.
And he's glad I didn't get my boob out this time.
Well, hey, listen,
Embarrassing.
it wasn't embarrassing at all. It made me laugh.
Now I'm
you know what
embarrassed about it.
Well,
but
you
at the
shouldn't
at the
be.
time, I wasn't. Though.
You shouldn't be embarrassed about it. It made me laugh, and that's the main thing in life. Hey, listen, all three of you, I wish you well. For the two of you, I wish you well, especially with what you're trying to do at the moment.
And could I just say thank you to Nick and Eva again, because obviously I know they're listening now.
They're amazing
so.
people.
Well,
They are
it's
amazing.
great that they've managed to have such a positive influence on your life.
Yeah.
And I wish you all the best progressing, especially with trying to get another baby on another
Yeah.
brother or sister. And
No, it wasn't a secret.
Well, you've now announced it to the whole of Norfolk, so it's not a secret anymore. But we collectively wish you well.
Oh, thank
and
you.
for you, Charlotte, thank you for your continued honesty. And I absolutely wish you the best progressing. And Louise, the most important thing for you is you have yourself a lovely summer holiday.
Thank you.
Take care, all of you. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
in.
Cheers.